And welcome everybody to the Apocrypha Apocalypse. I am Gary Machuda. It is chill stream time, Saturday. Welcome aboard, everybody. It's great to be with you today. If you're new to the chill stream, by the way, the reason why I'm talking in nice, soft tones is because my family's asleep. It's a little past 3:30. Sorry for the delay for the program, but I appreciate your patience. And we're going to have some fun today. As always, we are doing some deep dives into the Deutero canon, as you know, and we cover a lot of material in chill streams. Initially, we kind of started off in the early church, went all over the place a little bit, and then we've been focusing on New Testament and going through the New Testament. Hope you've been enjoying it. Again, not everything that we give is the same probative weight for the Deutero canon, but I'm trying to give you an overview of some of the more interesting connections. In fact, there are a ton of connections in the New Testament with the Deuterocanon, but not all of them are the same. So I'm just picking out my personal favorites. And like I said, some are home runs. Some I think really show forth the authority of the Deuterocanon, while other ones are just interesting connections. So at least shows the familiarity and use of these books. And I want to say hi to all of you in the chat. Again, thank you for your patience. Apparently, Susan was up early this morning posting all sorts of stuff. Thank you, Susan. Appreciate that. And good morning, Kenneth. And Tyler Rudder is in the house. Welcome aboard, Tyler. Welcome aboard. Azabad 80. I haven't seen you before. Welcome. Good to have you with us. And just going through the chats, trying to catch up because we started like a minute or two late today. SoCal is in the house. Welcome aboard, SoCal. Yeah, past midnight. Thank you for staying up. Man, I don't know. I can't do the chill stream earlier. I won't get any sleep. But I appreciate, SoCal, that you're here and that you chime in the chat room. I know it's late and you're probably on your way to bed after spending a incredible day frolicking in paradise. But SoCal, here's some thoughts for you. Okay, Southern California is paradise. You know, I think it's one of the few areas in the United States map that you don't need an air conditioner or a heater. That the temperature is never too cold to need a heater and never too warm to need an air conditioner. Apparently, though I've been there and sometimes it's been a bit warm. But Detroit does have one thing over on you guys, and it's this. Where do you go for vacation if you live in Southern California? Like any other destination is a step down. However, if you live in the Detroit area, every destination is a vacation spot. So we do have that on you. We can go anywhere, and it is paradise, or at least better than where we are in Detroit area. Fellow Detroiters, you know I'm saying that with tongue in cheek, right? Random Catholic is in the house. All right. Let's see. Our good friend Reason Belief is up and joining us today. Look out, folks. Here he is, the G Man. Yep. Well, hey, same to you, my friend. Keep up the great work on your channel. By the way, guys, Reason Belief channel, show some love. Go over there. If you haven't checked him out, please do. He's got great material. He's cranking out great material. And he's been a friend of the family for a while, a friend of the channel. So show some love over there. Give him some lights, a little exposure. He's got a great book that's come out. And I got to get a copy myself. Keeping me awake again. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that, my friend. You could always watch it later. You know, it will be up on YouTube, but I appreciate you being in the chat room. You're one of those great contributors. Yeah, 3:30 in Kentucky. Ready for the 7 a.m. sacrifice of the Mass. Beautiful. Yes, you are more than ready. And Kentucky area is very beautiful. I have some friends who live in Kentucky, northern Kentucky, and I like Kentucky a lot. It's a little difficult to travel around, though. It seems like It runs Kentucky's short north-south. It's kind of a flat, if you look on a map for the state of Kentucky in the United States. So when I travel to Kentucky, usually I have destinations either in Kentucky or south of Kentucky. So to drive through Kentucky is not bad, but it seems like a longer drive than it ought to be. But I love it. It's a beautiful, beautiful state. Well, hello, Ligori Milton. Welcome aboard. Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're from. Zebat, been here a few times. Okay, this is your third chill stream. Well, cool. Yeah, I don't know if I've seen you in the chat before, but you know, when you're running live streams, you kind of have to have an eye on the chat room, an eye on what you're doing, and uh, it's easy for us to miss things, which unfortunately means super chats are really helpful for anyone doing a live stream, just FYI, because it flags you and calls our attention to your comment. Not that I'm I'm suggesting you guys do that, but I'm just saying, like, not just my channel, but any channel out there, if you want your comments to be seen, YouTube designed it so super chats will do it. I'm not a huge fan of that because I don't think you should spend money in order to be heard, but it is what it is, guys. Just FYI. Of course, with the chill stream, it's not like we have hundreds of people watching. So I can usually see your comments, and I try to hit most of them. Hey, living in Ann Arbor for 10 years, strongly agree. That's it, random. I had a feeling, random Catholic, you were a Michigander at one point. Just saying. Just because, I don't know, in some ways we're like two peas in the pod. I just thought, somehow are those guys connected, not just with, was it Chicago, if I remember correctly? And Chicago and Detroit are kind of like sister cities. I've been to Chicago a bunch of times. It's really easy to get there. It's an awesome city, lots of fun stuff. Chicago is a step up from Detroit. Ann Arbor is a decent area, sort of. Correct. So SoCal agrees, I guess, but only if you live away from the beach. No humidity here. Live 3 blocks from the beach. We have Yosemite, loads of national parks with hours. Yeah, it's paradise. What can I say? What can I say? I wish I could live there, but I don't know how you guys can afford it, honestly. Yeah, it just it's tough. It's tough. I don't know how people make ends meet in California in general. It's crazy the cost of living there. Everybody's saying hi to everybody. Yeah, we got a big family here. Made it. Need to rest after debating a Muslim. So I'm here. Oh, wow. That's awesome. Good for you. How did the debate go, by the way? I trust you did a bang up job. Man, the quality of people here in the chat is amazing. I don't know if I've seen other channels that the quality of the people there are the same level as you guys, because you guys are really well read. And so I'm trying to kick it up a notch so that I can give you maybe a bit of information here and there that you might not be familiar with. But I'm also scared that there might be somebody tuning in, as a viewer later on. They'll watch this stuff and it's just going to go so far over their heads. So I got to cover both areas, the newbies and the events people like you guys. Sneak peek, I am interviewing Father Lawrence Cleanwork soon, the editor of Eastern Orthodox Bible, New Testament. William has interviewed him before. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I'm not familiar with him, but that sounds awesome. So, hey, there you go. You guys, sneak peek from our brother, Reason Belief. I'll have to check it out. I'm always watching your channel, so I definitely won't miss it. Whatever, shut up, take my money. Hey, thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I probably shouldn't have mentioned that because I'm honestly not saying do it, but thanks, Random Catholic. I appreciate it. You gotta laugh on me. Yes, Tony Esto is in the house. Islam El Masih, my friend. Chicago. Yep, that's right. I remember you mentioning Chicago. And like I said, there's a lot of commerce between the two cities. We kind of have the same sort of attitude. Um, cool stuff. James Tay, hey, thank you so much for the super chat. You are awesome. Palestinian wisdom today, it seems. Don't forget to use the DR name for the epistle. I've been trying to do that, James. I don't know if you noticed it, but the last, like the team stream yesterday, I mentioned the epistle of St. James. And I've been trying to do that. That advice has stuck with me, but it's easy to shorten it. So, my friend, I've been trying my best. Can't guarantee I can always line up with the DR, but I will do my best. I taught Wolverines for 10 years. I used to be able to sing The Victor's Drunk. Now I don't drink, so I can't remember the song. By the way, guys, that's the Wolverine fight song, University of Michigan, for those who are not in country. Ann Arbor is a big university town, of course, the University of Michigan. And that makes a lot of sense about the drunkenness and stuff like that. Chef Gary, take it and be happy about it. Reason to believe. Hey, thanks. Thank you, my friend. No, I was just saying, from it's just something to know if you're in that chat room, if there's something. Super chats are super chats, and it's designed that way. But like I said, with StreamYard, which is what I use, and I think probably about 99% of people do, that I'm aware of, there's just all these things you got to watch at the same time, and it just makes life easier. So, hey, thank you, Reason Belief. You're awesome. You're awesome on many different levels, my friend. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I'm trying to get everybody. The bait was hilarious. Did I miss Jay's update on the debate? Anyway, I'd like to hear that. Well, anyway, debating is debating. So yeah, you probably need to chill out a little bit afterwards. So I'm glad you're with us. Interview, read. It's one of my favorite NTs. Okay. Here we go. Here's the update. Muslims said yes to child marriage. Oh, okay. That sounds like a fun debate. I don't know if you know this, but see, I'm an old timer with apologetics. I've been doing this for years. And so there's certain areas of apologetics that I'm fascinated with. Trinitarian apologetics I've recently become fascinated with. So I binge watched Sam Shamoun's channel and others, but also Islamic apologetics. And so I am up on that, but I don't think I'm on the level of actually debating on it. But very interesting stuff. And I believe that Protestants engaging with apologetics with Muslims will help Protestants recognize the Deuterocanon ultimately, because it pops them out of their Bible-only worldview when you have to do apologetics with non-Christians. See, throughout the years, the apologetics aimed against the Deuterocanon, the so-called Apocrypha, is kind of an in-house discussion. And some of the major flaws can be seen if you're engaging with non-Christians. And I think the fact that Protestants are now becoming more and more involved with Christian Islamic apologetics, hopefully that will give them a background to realize that some of these arguments against the Deuterocanon is simply inconsistent. Like you're being duplicitous because you're accepting certain arguments against the Apocrypha, where when you're doing apologetics against Islam, you kind of have to reject that. So anyway, let's see. Yeah, the Muslim was very uncooperative. Okay, gave him their Islamic sources and law, and they played tricks and speaking riddles. In the end, they wasted my time. So I'm sorry to hear that. But yes, to CM, rated 18. Okay, yeah, good. Well, you could sow seeds. Islam is an interesting nut to crack. Uh, in some ways, Islam aligns philosophically with Protestantism in some surprising ways. Another thing too is I believe that there are areas where it's densely populated, like a Muslim country. Is Islam becomes almost a coercive mind control group. It's interesting that they check off a lot of boxes of coercive mind control, but it seems to be only so in densely packed Islamic areas. It has this kind of closing off to critical or self-critical thought. So the fact that you may not make headway doesn't necessarily mean anything bad. It might be that that person's just imprisoned in a particular thought system that they just can't think outside the box. But like I said, I'm new to it and I'm still trying to sort out all the different details, but it's a fascinating subject. So good for you for engaging Muslims in apologetics. Uh, okay. As about, if I'm mispronouncing your name, Edie, subscribe to Reason and Belief channel. Currently reading Orthodox Bible, so definitely interested. Cool. Another super chat. Jeez. I have to open my mouth. Lino, thank you so much, my friend. You are awesome. God bless you, Gary. Love your work and bless Sam and Williams too. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks for your thoughts. I truly, truly, truly appreciate it. And Joey Esto would not be Joey Esto if he wasn't so generous. And Joey just dropped 5 gift memberships to Apocrypha Apocalypse. Thank you so much, Joey. You rock. You are the man. And I hope the people you're gifting is enjoying the members only content. In fact, yesterday I just uploaded part 2 of my series on errors in Judith, quote unquote. And I'm going to finish up the series probably by the end of next week. So that's for members as a thank you for being a member and supporting us financially. And like I said, if you want to be a friend of someone, Joey Esto is the man. You're awesome, Joey. Thank you. James Tay says, I wasn't talking about that one. Okay. Again, I got to try to skip these things. Take more money. Get it. No, Random Catholic, it's okay. Thank you so much for supporting me. I truly appreciate it, man. But now you're starting to embarrass me. Why did I open my mouth? The debate wasn't on that, LOL. It was on Islam and the Islamic dilemma. Oh, cool. Okay, Islamic dilemma, very interesting stuff. It sounds like it's airtight. I've seen David, Apostate Prophet, all the big evangelicals out there use it, and they've done a lot of work. And I've even looked at the Quran myself just to see whether that seems pretty airtight. It seems like it is. Interesting take here. Yeah, I think it's true. And so if it is true, then Christian apologists ought to start using techniques that will circumvent mind control, and they might be more productive. But I'm still, like I said, I'm still analyzing this stuff, and I'm not sure. But it seems to me that that's true. And with the internet, we can dialogue with people in densely Islamic countries. You don't have to actually live there to do it, because you'd probably be killed if you did. But the internet makes it possible for us to do that. So it's good to be up on these techniques. Pretty ignorant about Islam, never could finish the Quran. Yeah, the Quran's a really difficult read. I totally agree. Always strikes me as dead and dreary, and my response to them is always really simple. Out of my element there. Yep, same here. I'm not there yet. I'm still a newbie to it, even though I've been looking at it for a few years. I don't know if I'd ever engage in it, but it's fascinating. And I'm always looking for, I guess my first love is the Deuterocanon and Old Testament apologetics. So I'm always looking at things with an eye to that. And like I said, I think Islamic apologetics is good for Protestants, and hopefully it'll able to clear up some stuff. Divine Mercy Apologetics just hosted a debate. Yeah, let's give a shout out to Divine Mercy Apologetics, our good brother James, who actually was frequently the chill streams early on, and he's kind of dropped off. And I miss him because I had him on board and he gave me some great insights. So maybe when we get to the early church, he'll join us again. But yeah, he hosted a debate. Check it out, guys. Go to his channel. Let's show some love to Divine Mercy Apologetics. Another extended family member of the Apocrypha Apocalypse. Sola Scriptura always reminds me of how Muslims are with the Quran. Yeah, there is more than a superficial resemblance. I wrote a book, let's see, was this my last? No, second from the last book. It's called Revolt Against Reality, where I try to explain all the craziness that's today is basically the end result of centuries of errors and how these errors morph over time. And in that book, I touch on Islam and its connection with nominalism, which of course is connected to the Protestant reformers. And see, if you have the Islamic God, which by the way looks a lot like the Calvinist God, the only way to know God's will, because God's will can change whenever God wants, is through his divine revelation. And so it naturally folds into Quran only as far as knowing the will of God. The only way you know it is through his divine revelation, which he can change. He can abrogate things. And that idea is actually found in Protestantism as well, with sola scriptura. And it's not an exact match, but there is a genetic relationship between Islam and nominalism, thereby Luther and Calvin and the early Protestant reformers. So I touch on that's one of those streams of thought I have in Revolt Against Reality. So if that sounds interesting to you, there's a shameless plug for one of my books. Exactly. Show Protestants, those Christians who believed, passed down believers before them, because Muslims during the time knew what Christians believed. Yeah. Yeah. Tyler Weller says, very good. Persuaded. Apologetics is great. I found his channel too. Then the debate happened after DMA's absence. Yes. DMA is awesome. James of Divine Mercy Apologetics. Him, William, Elijah Yassi, Eric Ibarra. I throw in Jimmy Aiken as well. I don't know how they can cram so much information into their brains. It's astounding to me how they can know all that stuff at the tip of their tongue, and understand it and be synthetic with it. Since you got Judith Ayer's video and Patreon now, yes, I binge them in the near future. Yes, yeah, I'm sharing it with my Patreon as well. They're my buds as well. They support the channel, and it's yeah. So if you're a Patreon subscriber, if you support me there, you get a whole bunch of free stuff like ebooks, and you also get, by the way, these chill streams. As soon as I'm done, I upload the PDFs on Patreon and exclusive members only stuff also on Patreon. So you get a lot on Patreon as a thank you for your generosity. So why was I saying that? Just because the chill stream PDFs. By the way, if you don't support me on Patreon, or you're not a member, well, it wouldn't be available for members, but Patreon, and you'd like a PDF of one of the chill streams, I'm not trying to make it into a paywall. I'm trying to make this public. So just contact me through YouTube and let me know what episode, like what was the thing, so I know which PDF to send you. I'll be glad to give it free of charge, right? Uh, I'm not going to do. Oh well, I got to mention this. Random Catholic is trying to embarrass me. Please, my friend, that's okay. Thank you so much. You are awesome. You don't have to prove your awesomeness. Everybody loves you, but thank you. But please, uh, okay, yeah, stop. It's actually hilarious seeing Gary's reaction to these. Yeah, please. Now I'm regretting mentioning that. Would you mind a collab with you, Gary, one day? Ligori Militant at first. I need to grow my channel. Yeah, you know what? Well, if you want me on your channel, you're not going to grow it. I'll tell you that. You'll probably lose subscribers, but ask reason belief. You have to be a strong channel to have me on because you're not going to get a flock of people coming and saying, "Oh my gosh, Gary's on there." Um, but hey, contact me. I'll be glad to come on. I don't care how big the channel is. I'd love to, whatever you want to talk about. I'd love to come on. I'm just flattered that someone would actually want me on their channel. I don't care how big it is. And also I want to support you too. So the Ligori Militant, can you put it in the chat room? Is that the name of the channel? Let me help you blow up a little bit. So guys, please, Ligori Militant, check out his channel. Show some love. We need to support our brothers, get some visibility. Okay, that's a intermediate thing. I didn't. Okay. Apocrypha Deuterocanon destroys Islam. The issue is most don't need to use it in debates. Nothing in the Quran that wasn't already taught before by Jews and Christians. Yeah, that's true. Islam is a kind of parasitic religious system. It draws from many different sources. Do, 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 do. Just going through, you guys are having a lot of side discussions, which I don't mind. Some of these are a lot more interesting than what I'm talking about. But anyway, I think we should probably get to the material, don't you? But don't you guys think? Yeah, the Islamic God is such a misunderstood version of the triune God of the Bible, and he's more like Satan. Yeah, it's interesting to study. I love philosophy, so the philosophical inner workings of Islam is interesting in itself. Islam is like Mormonism. They both plagiarize. Yeah, and SoCal, you're not the only person to make that connection. In fact, I have a feeling Joseph Smith modeled himself after Muhammad in various ways. In fact, I think the burning of the bosom thing, well, never mind. I won't go down that road because I got to get to the lesson. Let's see. Yeah, I think William of Ockham is terrible below the Western thought. Totally agree. The idea that word could be redeem us. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's anti-incarnational. And it's done untold damage. And by the way, I don't know if you know it, but William of Ockham was weaponized by a prince against the Catholic Church. He employed him to do just that, to destroy Catholicism. Nominalism has been a plague ever since, absolutely. In fact, I think the world we live in today is awash with nominalist thought, even though people are totally unaware of it. Yes, absolutely. Ryan, you're absolutely right. Are you not entertained? Ram Catholic, I'm going to stop picking your super chats. I'm going to ban you from my channel. So behave. No, please, my friend. You are generous, but I better go into the lesson. Okay, guys. Let's see. I need to get to the lesson, and there's so many great comments in the chat room. Oh boy, sorry. I'm just scanning through the chats trying to. Yeah. Hey guys, if you ever want me on your channel, I'll be glad to come on. Joseph Smith was a Freemason. He was a very advanced Freemason, in fact. Yeah, interesting. In fact, I've heard that Freemasons who convert to Mormonism, when they get to the temple ceremonies, that some of them recognize that the secret handshakes and stuff, and some of them left because they knew it was a fraud. Gee, okay, so let's get to the lesson, shall we? We've had a lot of fun, and I think actually, guys, I think we set a record for the most people to attend a chill stream. I don't think we've ever had this many people on a chill stream before. So hey, yeah, please don't forget, like, subscribe, hit the bell. Memberships are beautiful if you want to support us financially. I'm not even going to mention super chats because I don't want to tempt. I don't even want to gauge. Let's just go to the lesson. Okay. We're going to look at James 5:12 with Sirach 23, 9 through 11. Guys, unfortunately, this is not going to be really spectacular. It's not going to be super insightful, but it is interesting. And so, as we do here on the Chill Stream, we look at the interesting connections, whether or not they have probative weight. And this one is interesting. That's all I can say. I can't say anything more. And for those who aren't familiar with James 5:12, here's what it says. But above all, my brothers, do not swear, either by heaven or by earth or by any other oath. Let your yes mean yes, your no mean no, that may not occur condemnation. Okay, so it's strong advice not to swear oaths. No comment. I will probably never mention super chats again. I have been chasing my friend. Okay, so this is really important because James is clearly echoing Jesus's teaching in Matthew 5:33, where Jesus says, "Again, you have heard where it's said by your ancestors, you shall not take false oath and make good to the Lord all that you vow. But I say to you, do not swear at all, not by heaven, for it is God's throne, nor by earth, for it is his footstool, nor by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. Do not swear by your head, for you cannot make a single hair white or black. Let your yes mean yes, and your no mean no. Anything more is from the evil one." So you can see the obvious connection here with James 5:12 with Jesus' teaching, right? If anything, well, I'll just leave it at that. So there's obvious connection there. The possible connection here is with Sirach 23:9, which reads, "Let not your mouth form the habit of swearing or becoming too familiar with the holy name." And then verse 11 says, "A man who often swears heaps up obligations. The scourge will never be far from his house. If he swears in error, he incurs guilt. If he neglects his obligation, his sin is doubly great. If he swears without reason, he cannot be found just, and all his house will suffer affliction." So what we have here is a alignment of thought. Okay, not a thematic alignment, but basically a correspondence of thought. which is probably one of the weaker connections you can make. So we will go to the commentaries and yeah. This one is the New International Greek Testament Commentary, which is actually a very good series. I enjoy it. And it says in the Old Testament, there's already a problem with using oaths too lightly. And then it cites Jeremiah, Hosea, Zechariah, and Malachi. And the warnings against oaths were later expanded to counsel to avoid oaths whenever possible so as to prevent their frivolous use. Verse 1 cited, and only one cited, Sirach 23, 9, 10. So there are some warnings about taking oaths lightly, but by the time you get to Sirach, it turns out to be much stronger to try to avoid them as much as possible, which takes you one step below where Jesus basically says, don't take these oaths. Now, that doesn't, it's not Jesus isn't forbidding taking all oaths whatsoever. Obviously, in some cases you have to, but it's like, just don't do it. Just make sure your yes means yes and your no means no. It says, which was similar to the council of Epictetus and other Greeks, although on different grounds. Okay, so it points out the connection with Sirach and so on. Okay, so I'm seeing the chat room lighting up as I'm reading. So we have James Tay with a gift subscription. Hey, thank you, James. You are the man. In fact, then you're followed by 5 gift subscriptions. Thank you, my friend. You're awesome. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. God bless you for that. And I hope they enjoy the memberships. And then I have reason belief. I have a question. What are some of the best resources out there available on Logos for these connections between the Deuterocanon and New Testament? Good question. Boy, there's a lot. A couple that are available on Logos that I would recommend would be Lee Martin McDonald's book, The Biblical Canon. He has a lot. He also has another 2-volume set. Let me look it up really quick for you. It's available on Logos, which is The Formation of the Biblical Canon, 2 volumes. Lee Martin McDonald. Also, Dubney's book, The Use of the Apocrypha in the Christian Church, is also available on Logos. And that's very good. He doesn't get into depth, though, but he does provide a lot of connections that you can check into further. And A.E. Breen's book, General Introduction to Sacred Scripture, Breen. He's a very good Catholic. He was perhaps the last book written by a Catholic defending the Deuterocanon before my book, and it was like back in the 1890s. It's very good. Some things are a little antiquated, but I would recommend that as well. He does go into New Testament connections, but not a lot, but he spends a lot with the early church fathers. I'm trying to think if there's any others. But off the top of my head, my friend, I think those would be the ones I'd go to. There's also the Old Testament. What is it? Let me look it up. I'll give you the exact title. Background. What is it? Hold on one second. Sorry, guys. Talk among yourselves. I want to get this for our brother here. Is it Evans? Let me look up that way. Ancient Texts from the New Testament, a guide to background literature by Craig Evans. I think he has a lot, but basically, if you have those books, you pretty much have a very wide range of connections. And of course, you could even get the Nestle Aland 28th edition, the critical Greek text of the New Testament, and their apparatus includes citations as well, although it's not super focused. All right. Yeah, you're welcome. No problemo. I'm talking, but nobody hears me. I hear you. uh, sorry. Like I said, I'm trying to keep my eye on the PowerPoint and the chat room and everything. So I'm sorry, Kenneth, if you said something, I missed it. Okay, cool. Hey, Justified Janice is with us. I didn't see you before. Welcome aboard, my friend. Okay, where biblical commentary says, but the Old Testament also contains warnings against taking oaths too lightly, and it cites basically the exact same text we just saw in the other commentary. And in Judaism, it became accepted that the best policy was, whenever possible, to avoid oaths. So it's essentially the same thing as the other commentary. But notice Sirach 23:9-11 is the text that's cited. Notice there's no proto-canonical book cited. Both the synoptic record and the teaching of Paul are familiar with the practice of oaths. Okay. Then nothing shocking, no earthquake, no beam of light coming from heaven, but it's an interesting connection. Tyndale New Testament commentators say, concerning about the devaluation of oaths because of their indiscriminate use and tendency to try to avoid fulfilling them by swearing a less sacred things, see up Matthew 23, led to warnings against using them too often. And then Sirach 23:9-11 and Philo. Jesus appears to went even further than this when he commanded his disciples not to swear at all. Jesus' teaching in Matthew 5:34-37 is particularly important to understand James' teaching because it looks like James is constantly or consciously reproducing that tradition, which is true. And by the way, I like Douglas Moo's work. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but I think he's a good scholar. And I just put this from Moo for you. This is from Logos. Because I like the line by line comparison. You can really see where James is just summarizing Jesus's teaching, right? So you have do not swear at all is common with both, either by heaven or by earth or by Jerusalem, where James turns it to, or by any other oath. Do not swear by head. Make your yes mean yes and no mean no. Same thing in James. Anything else is from the evil one. And he says, that you may not fall under condemnation. So you can definitely see James is using Matthew here. I'm reproducing, James Tay. I'm not reproducing you. I'm reproducing, this is from the Logos version of the Tyndale New Testament commentaries. And I could copy and paste that into a slide, but the formatting's all weird. So I just cut it, clipped it for you guys so you can see this connection. Because I think it's important to realize that James is basically like reproducing Jesus's teaching. And yeah, Douglas Moo. Yes. I'm sure he's never heard that before in grade school. Which is interesting because if Sirach lays behind these texts, if it lays behind the Epistle of St. James, did you notice I used the Dewey Reams? Then, and he's using Matthew, then maybe Matthew is also connected with Sirach as well. You ever think of that? In fact, when you go to Matthew in the ICC, this is what it says. It says the same imperative appears in James 5:12a. Now, this is him commenting on Matthew 5:34. Okay. Understood literally, it would have been very difficult in Judaism, despite the reservations expressed in vows and oaths from Ecclesiastes 5:4-5-9-2, and then Sirach or Ecclesiasticus 23:9, and then, of course, Philo. But Philo is a contemporary with Jesus. So obviously Jesus isn't using Philo. He's not dependent on Philo. They're independent. They weren't aware of each other in the writings. They don't. Of course, Jesus was aware because he's omniscient, right? But as far as showing literary dependency, there's no connection between Philo and Jesus. So it had to be if Jesus is commenting or expanding or strengthening something earlier, it would be well, in this case, they say Sirach or Ecclesiastes, but I don't know if I reproduce Ecclesiastes. So that's it for the commentaries. Again, no bolt from above, no shining light, nothing like that. It just shows that the that Sirach takes it one step further by counseling strongly against oath swearing whenever possible. And that's the next step to Jesus's teaching. And this is recognized by Protestant commentators, but is it recognized in early Protestant Bibles? I'm glad you asked. So we go to, as we do on this channel, early Protestant Bibles that used to include the so-called Apocrypha. Now, once the Apocrypha, so-called, was removed from Protestant Bibles, so were these cross-references. So modern Protestant Bibles don't have these cross-references in them, but they were there early on, and they show that these Protestant publishers, editors, thought that these connections were important enough that to alert their Protestant readers that the New Testament is utilizing these books, or that these books are important for understanding the New Testament. So it's very revealing, right? And so let's go through the cross references, shall we? First one, of course, Coverdale Bible. And I'm just sticking to English translations. Sometimes on this channel, I'll go to other languages, but by and large, I'm sticking with English translations. There is a cross reference here in Sirach to Matthew 5. Now remember, Matthew 5 and James are connected. And then Matthew's Bible, 1537, which actually generally doesn't have a lot of cross references. Interesting enough, it has a cross reference to Matthew in Sirach. Great Bible, 1541, Sirach to Matthew, as you can see here. Taverner's Bible, 1551, Sirach to Matthew. Geneva Bible, 1583. As you can tell, there is a cross reference to Matthew. And King James, which I affectionately call the King James Bible, or the Authorized Version, 1611 has a cross reference to Matthew. And subsequent editions of the King James, I just ran out of time, so I just put this up for you. The Blaney, 1769, the Kahn, 1828 edition, and of course the Cambridge Paragraph Bible, 1873. They all have cross references from Sirach to Matthew, but they don't have Matthew to Sirach, interesting enough. And they also don't have James to Sirach. So it's there. It's a little bit hidden in early Protestant translations, but it is there. So let's see. I saw something from Soquel. In fact, I'll take this down. Sorry, guys, I'm so far behind on chats. You guys are awesome. Thank you for your comments. By the way, as I'm going through the chats looking for that comment. Oh, okay. You can get it. You can get the Nestle Aland on archive. That's cool. Speaking, no one hears it. Sister Chloe is here. Awesome. Welcome aboard, Sister Chloe. Yes. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to catch up. I think I'm actually. SoCal does a lot of work with the King James Bible. I thought I saw a comment by him. A physical copy of the Cambridge Cameo with the Apocrypha, if he hasn't already got one. It's on archive. You can get the Cambridge. That's where I get my clips from. So yeah, a lot of the stuff is available free online. Either there's one part, it's called, what is it? Bibles. One second, my hair is kind of crazy with these headphones. There's Bibles. Now, let me look up. I don't want to give you guys the wrong address. Bibles-online.net, where you can get a lot of English translations of old Protestant Bibles. Those are cameos. They're just facsimiles of those. And whatever you can't find there, you can find on archive. So like the later editions, like the Blaney, the Kahn editions of King James, you can get that on archive. And the Cambridge Paragraph Bible is available on archive. So it's a literal PDF of the Bible. So yeah, so I don't need the physical copies, guys. They're helpful. I don't know how much of an impact it would have on people that don't, Protestants who don't accept the Deuterocanon or the so-called Apocrypha. But I'd like to put it on there because I think it's a historical witness that early Protestants thought a lot more of these books than modern Protestants do, and to an embarrassing extent. In fact, if you guys caught the team stream yesterday, William and I did, we had a Protestant apologist on. I can't remember what his name was, but he was a firm adherent of the Westminster Confession. And the Westminster Confession is actually it says that the Apocrypha should be made, it's not inspired, and therefore it should be treated as any human writing, which is very different from the early Protestant Reformation. It really goes against it in a significant way, because they thought the Deuterocanon was holy, it was good to read, some extent maybe even inspired, and they thought they were authentic members of the Bible. Hence, early Protestant translations had it, even though that was in the appendix and so on and so forth. But they didn't go as far as to say they're not inspired to human writings, and basically they shouldn't be in the Bible. Let's see. SoCal, I love the cameo. I've gotten old enough, I now supplement my Bible with technology to read it. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of this stuff's free online. So for all the money that, for all the bankroll that I get from brothers such as Random Catholic, I would not invest in cameos just because I can get it free online. I'd probably invest in more commentaries or something like that, or other research. There's some stuff that is not available online that's academic, that's very expensive, and the only way to get it is to shell out the money. So I'd probably put resources to that rather than cameos. Yes, but Gary, a new Bible leather smell, turning pages, cross references. I hear you, Reason. I hear you. And you know what? For years, I've been eyeing these facsimiles of old Protestant Bibles, and it's just too expensive. I just can't justify it. But yeah, I love the new leather smell. It's like a new car. And the tacitness of turning pages, I love it. And by the way, I'm not a big fan of online stuff or digital things, although it's very helpful with sending material out because you could just copy and paste it. It's very helpful with doing deep searches. But one advantage a hard copy has is it forces you to turn pages. And I found that when you turn pages, you could discover things that you wouldn't discover if it was digital, just because your eye might glance and see something that will alert you to something you never were looking for. And that's not true with digital stuff. It's so precise, it takes you right to the part. And you could be missing some valuable insights that just browsing through something you would find. So technology is nice, but it has its shortcomings as well. The UK, if a Palmarian Bible had the Deuterocanon, just asking. I've never heard of that Bible before. Palmarian Bible. Oh yeah, it was GG something. Yeah, I can't remember what it is. GG podcast or something. Okay, so after all the crazy beliefs that sprang up in America in the 19th century, it's no surprise that they took books out of the Bible. Yeah, actually, in America, they never really were part of the Protestant Bible. because America's founding was through Puritans, and Puritans hated the Deuterocanon. And so, like the earliest Protestant Bibles that are printed here in America didn't have them already. But oddly enough, this is something a lot of people don't know unless you're into Mormon apologetics. But Mormonism sprung up after the Second Great Awakening, along with all sorts of really weird spin-offs. And the Book of Mormon rips off the so-called Apocrypha. And like if you go to Utah Lighthouse Ministry, which is a old-time uh, uh, Protestant ministry to Mormons ran by Gerald and Sandra Tanner. I know Gerald's passed away. I don't know if Sandra's still around, but it's got lots of information, and they've done treaties on how the Book of Mormon is dependent on the so-called Apocrypha. So, yeah. So it's there. I mean, even so, and the Seventh-day Adventists were fans of the Deuterocanon as well. So, and they're a crazy spin-off group too. So I can see where your thinking is, that they're crazy, and yeah, you could see them removing the books, but actually that already started. That already started pretty much. I was on earlier, great discussion debate with you and William and him. Yeah, the thing is, looking back at that live stream, we caught him off guard. I think it was Frank C. In the chat room did a super chat, and the super chat was a challenge to the Protestant about the Deuterocanon, which he came on. He was talking about something else. He was talking about New Testament canon, the Gospels. And so we caught him off guard, and I felt bad for him because he wasn't prepared to discuss this. And so he's just pulling things from memory. And we were kind of like, come on, give us a substantive argument, And you guys can check it out. It's available online. I'm on YouTube. It could have been better. I'm hoping he'll do his homework and come back, because I would like to have a nice meaty discussion with someone that isn't a professional apologist that has his talking points. And well, although I don't know the person, maybe he is a professional in the UK. He said that he went to Speaker's Corner, so I know he's definitely trained in polemics. Kanich, sorry, still okay. That's private message. Thomas Nelson just came out with a thin line 1611 King James with Apocrypha facsimile. That's quite affordable. Hey, that's good to know. Apocrypha Apocalypse, I connected with Cambridge Press, and they informed me that they're reacting to sales growth in the King James Cameo, and I was told that they're working on more editions of the King James with Apocrypha. Oh, that's cool. That would be interesting. I wonder what they're going to put out. By the way, SoCal Preston, I think I gave a plug for him. He's a good friend of the channel. Blow up his channel. SoCal is awesome. And he's going to have a debate with T-Fan coming up next month. And I'm hoping to do a watch party here, because we had so much fun with William and David and their debate with our watch party. Be fun to do one here. GG Podcast. Yes, there you go. Thank you, Tyler. Yeah, a lot of side discussions here. Just looking to see if any comments that you want to just throw up for everybody. And doesn't look like it. Well, that's about it, guys. I mean, we are going to go next. Let's see, the next chill stream will be Tuesday. And Tuesday's chill stream, we're going to bring it all the way up to Revelation. There are several points of contact. Some of them are very interesting, but there's not a lot of material on it. And so we're going to go through like 3 texts that touch on deuterocanonical connections. One of them I think is fairly significant. next chill stream, Tuesday, 3:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and love to see you there. Team stream, next team stream, I'm hoping to do it Monday. We will see. David Zavaris, Dr. Dave, is hopefully back on vacation and available to do a team stream with me. William probably won't be, so it'll just be David and I, and that will be 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And Singapore, for those in Singapore, there you go. So that's something to look forward to. It's always fun to have Dr. Dave on. The guy's amazing. I miss him. We missed him yesterday. And I miss William too. Well, actually, yesterday was first time he's been on a little bit. He's been so busy. The guy's, I don't know where he gets all his energy from, but he's sharp as a tack. After doing all this work, my brain would be jello if I did as much work as he did and then do a team stream. When was the last team stream with all three of you? That's a good question. When was it? I think it was the week before last, but I could be wrong. It's been a while. But don't worry, it's coming up. We're going to have Dr. John Bergsma on the channel. We were hoping to do it Friday, but that fell through on Dr. Bergsma's end, which is no problem. So we're going to hopefully have him on. And when we have him on, we definitely will have all three of us because we got tons of questions for him. And I'm sure you got tons of questions for Dr. Bergsma. His specialty is Dead Sea Scroll and Jubilee year. And he's just a wealth of information. Very, very smart guy. Okay, folks. Well, it's that time. And okay, last call for questions. Let me do what William does. Last call for questions, in case you didn't hear that. Any questions or comments before we go? And then we got to do our secret code before we go as well. Let's see. I know he gets it from candy and Red Bull. No, I think he gets it from the coffee flavored cream and sugar that he drinks. But man, he's a tank. He's a machine. Same thing with Sam. Yeah, Sam is deep dish pizza Kit Kats. Yeah, don't get Sam mad. But Sam's a machine. I honestly, I don't know how these guys do it. It's amazing. We need more Alexandrian Palestinian wisdoms. Yeah, we didn't really see a lot today, did we, James? That's been like an ongoing joke with us. How he doesn't take it anymore. Yeah. How commentators will carefully couch connections with the Deuterocanon to make it sound foreign and non-biblical, like the Alexandrian wisdom literature will say, and then they'll quote Sirach as if it's totally disconnected from the Bible. Okay. William says he's a beast. Let's see, Reason Belief says, William says he's a beast, but I don't see him getting up at 3 a.m. at chill stream. He's more of a beast for that in my book. Okay. Yeah. Well, actually, to William's credit, he does sneak on here and occasionally make a comment or two. But don't tempt him, because knowing William, he will start doing early morning chill streams too, which is cool. The more William, the better, as far as I'm concerned. Love you, William. Yes, much love. Brother Sam, those are 2 of your favorite foods? Wow. Let's see. Always the wisdom of Solomon, yes. Yeah, there's this fear of wisdom of Solomon, isn't there? Okay. Only wisdom of Solomon seems to get these names. Wisdom of Ben Sirach gets it because of wisdom of Solomon. Yeah, I've noticed that too. Okay, guys, I think we're done. So, okay, let's do the thumbnail as we do here. Let's see. What do I need to do? Remove and put this up. How come it's not going up? There we go. Here's the thumbnail. Anybody guess the movie? I actually had to do two pictures because I wasn't sure one of them would be sufficient. Anything? We got it. All right. SoCal Preston. He got it. It's Police Academy. That's right. Police Academy. You're right. So one of the favorite character of mine, and probably yours in Police Academy, is this guy that I can't remember his name because it's too early in the morning. So yeah, so I put my face on him just because I thought he was hilarious. I love over the top performances. I don't know if you guys like that, but I'm a sucker for it. And it is a bit of a over the top performance. What's the name, SoCal, or the rest of you guys? What was the name of this guy? It's going to bug me now. I should know it. Yeah, there were like a million police academies. It's not police academies didn't. There's like 3% of the movie I think is funny. The rest is kind of dumb humor. Maybe you like dumb humor, so I shouldn't cut that down. But Hightower, yeah, no, not Hightower. Hightower is the big guy. I forgot what the one that does the sound effects, but he was pretty cool. Tackleberry, there you go, Officer Tackleberry. I don't know. Would Tackleberry be too long of a secret code for the flexing part? What do you guys think? Let's do it. We'll put Tackleberry. If you guys want to flex in the chat room, show everybody that will watch this video that you made it to the very end and you rock because you endured Gary Machuta's ramblings for, let's say, an hour and 8 minutes. Put Tackleberry in the chat room and you can flex. And guys, so I hope you have a great Labor Day weekend. And God willing, we'll see each other next week, Monday, 2 p.m. Team Stream, God willing, with David and I. And Tuesday, Chill Stream, we're going to go through 3 different points of contacts in the New Testament with the Deuterocanon. And that be it, guys. So Tackleberry is the word. Until next time, I'm Gary Machuda. I hope you guys have a blessed holiday. Keep safe and share the channel. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, tell your friends, do all that stuff. And till next time, God bless. Bye-bye.